Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Israelites 13 channel. I'm your host, and tonight's topic is Children of the Sun and the Sacred Name of God, Part 5. This series is going to be a little longer than I anticipated because there's so much information, so much hidden information that I've been uncovering. It's almost hard to keep up with it and impossible to put it into a video series, but I am doing my best. And that said, let's go back to Hollywood. And I chose this next clip from Oblivion, the theme of the actual series. And it makes me laugh, this part, because it's literally the reaction you get from most Judeo-Christians or children of Adam when you try to tell them who they are and you try to expose the lies that the church has told you. So that said, let me minimize the mug here and let's get started.
I'm having a problem with my technician.
You don't know what you're doing.
He found a survivor at the crash site.
Gotta listen to me.
She was impeding his abilities. And he's unfit for service.
I'm sorry to hear that, Victor. Are you still an effective team?
Oh, goddamn door, Victor!
No. We are not an effective team.
This is what happens when you approach a Judeo-Christian or a son of Adam and try to explain to them who they are and the fraud and the lies that have been woven into the Bible pertaining to the people who say they are Judah but do lie.
Victor, please. No, we have to go now.
I'm not going anywhere with you, Jack.
There's a place I know. We'll be safe.
I'm going to Titan.
And when you tell them certain things like the people in the Middle East are not God's chosen people and you're not going to be raptured, they always have this wide-eyed, like, this crazed look right here. I'm going to be raptured. And this to me reminds me a lot of the reaction you get from people, and is literally this wide-eyed, crazed, like demonically possessed look. And like the Bible says, that the eyes are the windows to the soul.
There's no Titan. They lied to us.
There is no rapture. They lie to us. The children of Israel are not who they say they are. They lied to us.
Just stay away from me.
Stay away from me. You're crazy. This is what they always say. This is hilarious. But the question you have to ask, are you the crazy one for knowing things that they don't know? Or are they the crazy ones? And like I said, the eyes, the window to the soul.
Oh, Victor. Please. There are things you need to know.
Judeo-Christian, there are things you need to know. And then when you attempt to tell them that, this is the reaction you get. It's always this. It goes from the crazed, wide-eyed look to like wanting to kill you right here. And that's the demon inside of them unleashing. Like when you tell them that we're not here to save the fallen angels. Think of how ridiculous that is. And they attack you and they call names. And the Bible says you know a tree by its fruit. So when you attack Saturn, the black Satan, the demon that dwells in these people come out and they lash out at you. And that's how you know who they are. That said,
I don't want to know!
and as our Father told us, my people are destroyed from lack of knowledge. So just wanted to throw that little part in there. I'm going to hit the ground running and get into the text. I've said in the past on many occasions that Osiris, the Egyptian god known as Osiris or demigod or poser god, that he was black. He was of the offspring of the devil. He was literally Cain, but in the Egyptian tongue known as Osiris. So is there any text or any documentation or any written record that would indicate that this is true? And I am going to present that to you tonight. Yes, there is, in many different books from places where you would least expect it. So I'm not going to read this whole paragraph for you right here, but I'm going to go to the middle right here, and I'm just going to get started here. It says, the stages of the seven spheres of Borseba, each story was dedicated to a planet and stained with the color particularly attributed to it in the works of the Sabian astrologers and traditionally handed down to us from the Chaldeans. The lowest stage was colored black in honor of Saturn, Satan. The devil is black. And I have presented the evidence of that in multiple hidden ancient texts. And here we have, from one of the most unlikely sources I would have ever imagined in my life, I find it again. And if we go on through the list here, it says that the second planet, each one of these supposed planets attached to one of the sons of God, through Jupiter, who would be Adam, known as Zeus in the Greek, Adonis, and in other civilizations, there's countless derivations of this name all over the world that prove that Adam was the son of God and he was the ruler over the earth. And this text is telling you from the planets, supposed planets, that the lowest of all of them, the lowest stage, was Satan. I had mentioned that this was an unlikely source where, of all places, I would have never thought I would have found this. And this is from a gentleman known as Albert Pike. He was a 32nd degree Scottish Rite Freemason, and he was basically the founder of the Scottish Rite. Does that mean I'm a Mason? No, I'm not. I'm not in anyone's group or anyone's camp except Jesus Christ, my Father in the heavens. But there comes a point in your life where you get tired of looking at the world through the lens of the rabbi. And I hit that wall a long time ago. And I've learned that what the enemy does, like I said in the past, they use a technique known as self-sin projection. They always project onto you what they are. So they might call you Esau, but in reality, they're Esau. So that said, let's go to another text that literally tells you who Osiris is. Let's go to Plutarch here. It says Adam's sons, Abel and Seth, and Satan's son, Cain / Osiris. Plutarch tells you, he says that Horus is of a fair or white color, as Tupho was of a red, and Osiris of black, of a black complexion. These are the colors of the Hindu Trimurti. So this is from the same book from Albert Pike, who the Judeo-Christian church brainwashes everyone and tells you that he was a devil and he was this because he wrote about Lucifer. And you'll notice another trend that a lot of people on the internet use. They don't use the name Satan anymore. They'll tell you there's no such thing as Satan. And when they refer to the devil, which your Bible tells you that there is a Satan, and it's not just an attribute of the devil or a title of but his name was literally Satnael, Samael, Satan. They don't use that name anymore. They use the name Lucifer. And I'm not going to get into the name of Lucifer, which was used only one time in your Bible compared to all the other times in the New Testament, the Old Testament, that Satan was used. That said, in Pike's book here that I'm reading from, he takes a segment from Plutarch, and he's telling you who these sons of Adam are and what color they were. He was a god at first, and upon his fall from God to men, he was placed into a white flesh body upon his fall. I'm not going to go into that again. If you've watched the videos, you're up to speed on that. But what they've done is through the civilizations, they've hidden the literal identity of these so-called gods, because Adam, Zeus, was the father, and these were supposedly his sons. Now, they'll tell you Horus, he was the son of Osiris. Yes, Osiris had a son, but this is referring to Horus the elder, and he was not a son of Osiris. He was a son of Adam. And in my opinion, Horus is of a fair or white color. This is literally Abel. This is Abel. Okay. And this brother here, Tupho, Typho, and that's what the Egyptians, through Egyptian propaganda, through Osirian propaganda, they would tell you that Seth, he was cloven hooved and he was red and he was some devil. This is typical propaganda, satanic propaganda. What they are, they always project it onto you. Classic move that Satan's children pull on the sons of light. And if you're not keen to their tactics, you will fall for that same trick. That's why our Father said, be wise as serpent, but harmless as doves. And what he's talking about, you have to understand who these people are and the tactics and the actual intellect, which is known as cunning. It's an evil form of intellect. And this is what they always do to keep you back on your heels, constantly attacking us, calling us names. But if you're learned, you're above all this stuff. It's comical when you see this, like I said earlier, when you get attacked, and I just laugh at it. I'm like, you have no power over me. My Father is with me. And the truth, the real truth, Jesus Christ in the heavens, he is the only one that is the truth. So back to this text here. This individual, Tupho, right here that they're talking about, this is Seth. And he was red. He had red hair. He was a red-haired young man, good-looking young man, and they say he was ugly. Well, that's a demon, an ugly demon, calling a good-looking person ugly. That's what they do. Osiris is of a black complexion. Cain, as the dream vision of Enoch tells you, and behold, a white bull, Tetragrammaton, was born of the earth, and that ram, that bull, was white. And from that white bull came forth a heifer, Eve, and from her came forth two bulls, one red and one black. The black one is the sin of Eve, laying up with the father of Osiris, Satan himself. Okay, that said, let's go to the next slide. I'm going to read something here from you. This is from another book. A book I have in my collection from France. I don't remember the name offhand, but it has to do with the cathedrals, the secrets of the cathedrals and the meanings of them. I've been studying that quite a bit, and I came across this and it kind of blew me away. So I'm going to share what it means, and let's get into that. So let's get into this text right here. It tells you the color black was given to Saturn. In spagyric art, he is the hieroglyph for lead. In astrology, a maleficent planet. In Hermeticism, the black dragon. Just like the Bible says, oh, that old devil, Satan, the dragon, the red dragon. But outside the Bible, this is telling you that the dragon is black, or philosophers' lead. In magic, the black hen, etc. In the Egyptian temples, when a new member was about to undergo the initiatory ordeals, the Osirian initiatory ordeals, not the Sethians, but the Osirian initiatory rites or ordeals, a priest approached him and whispered this mysterious sentence in his ear. Remember that Osiris is a black god. This is the symbolical color of the shades in the Cimmerian darkness, the color of Satan, to whom black roses were offered. It is also the color of the primitive chaos, in which the seeds of all things are confused and mixed. Let me stop right there. So it's telling you that this black angel, this fallen angel demon, Satan, and he is a real being. He's not, a lot of people on the internet will tell you, oh, there is no Satan. That just means adversary. And then they use the name Lucifer, which is used only one time in the Bible, but has a very, very ancient hidden meaning. Lucifer. Lucifer and Satan are not the same. That's the biggest lie ever told. I'm not going to get into it now in this video, but sometime in the future, I'm going to drop that bomb and I'm going to expose who Lucifer is. And this text is telling you exactly who Satan is. He is a real individual, and he is black. The father of the melanated races of the earth is Satan. Continuing, it says, the color of Satan, to whom black, the seeds of all things are confused and mixed. And this is what the devil does. The seeds they're speaking of, seed in Greek is sperma. And what they are speaking of right here, he mixes, he bastardizes all things. He amalgamates light with darkness. And this line of satanic thinking, he tries to raise himself out of the earth matrix through the mixing of the seeds. This is why Osiris was born in the first place, through the right of the firstborn to rule, since Satan was cast out and this honor was given to Adam to rule the earth. His next move was to rape Eve and impregnate her with his seed through the daughter of light who came from Adam, mixing darkness with light, assuring that his son Osiris would still rule the earth. In essence, Satan still ruling through his seed. And this is exactly what this is telling you. It is the sable of the science of heraldry and the emblem of the element earth, of night and death. So the element of earth is the sand. Like I said in the last series, it says that the children of light are born from above, the stars of the heavens, and when they come down as above, so below, they're made from the element of the earth, which is the sand. And this is hiding exactly the mixing of the seed through the element of earth. In other words, Adam with darkness and of death. Like our Father said, if you eat of this tree, of the tree of evil, you will surely die. And this tree of evil was a family tree of the darkness, the color of Satan, right in your face, hidden in another book. I don't know how many times I have to bring this to the forefront, but here it is again in another text. So continuing, just as in Genesis, day succeeds night, so light succeeds darkness. Its signature is the color white. The wise assure us that when their matter has reached this degree, it is freed from all impurity, perfectly cleansed, and very exactly purified. It then takes on the appearance of solid granulations or shiny corpuscles reflecting like diamonds, and of a dazzling whiteness. White has also been used to denote purity, simplicity, and innocence. White is the color of the initiates, because the man who abandons darkness or abides by God's law, do not mix thy seed with the children of Cain, who abandons darkness. That's what that means. To follow the light, passes from the profane state, that is of the flesh body, to that of the initiate, the pure. He is spiritually renewed. This term white, says Pierre, I'm going to butcher this, Dujols, has been chosen for very profound psychological reasons. The color white, as most languages attest, has always denoted nobility, candor, and purity. According to the famous dictionary Manual Hebrew, and this is another language, et Chaldean of Genesis, here's these key words again that denote white. Hur, ahu, hu. So right to left, like I said in the past, this is a single letter of an incomplete word. So the ru is ra, and then the hu is the sound of the breath of the Most High, the Spirit of God, from Deus, Isus. So this is Ra, the son of Isus, and it's pure white. This is what they're telling you from Genesis, generations. This is why they call us the Gentiles, because we're the generations of the Els. That's what that means. And he's telling you that these words signify, they're hidden from you, Hur, and this means, like I said, Rahu, Hur, a different derivation, and it signifies to be white. I'm not going to go through each one of these, but it's Huram, I guess I will. Huram, it designates the noble ones, the sons of Israel, El Ra'is, the white sons of the Most High. the white ones, the pure ones. This more or less variable transcription of Hebrews, and that does not mean the frauds in the Middle East, leads us to the French word he or eux, happy, the blessed ones, those who have been reborn and washed in the blood of the Lamb are always represented with white garments. The garments they're speaking of is your flesh body. This is what they're talking about, the white flesh of the children of the Most High God. You were born from above down into the sand or the grains or elements of the earth. Everyone knows that the blessed is also the equivalent, the synonym of the initiate, the noble ones. So that said, let's go on to the next slide. We're going to go to the Native Americans because they talk like this and they know more about the spirit realm than you stupid white men, because they've been here and they are native to this land. Well, just like Jack Harper told you in the beginning, there are things you need to know. And we're going to find out if these Native Americans were here before we were. So they always tell us that we came and we took the land. We're thieves. We stole the land from the natives. And this is from a book written by a woman from the Klamath Indians. So the source of this book, it's called To the American Indian by Lucy Thompson. And Miss Thompson has a lot of things to tell you as to who the first people in the United States of America were. So that being said, let's get started. Traditions of the ancient white people from a Native American. When the Indians first made their appearance on the Klamath River, it was already inhabited by a white race of people known among us as the Wagas. Interesting name. Let me repeat that. When the Klamath Indians first made their appearance in the United States, it was already inhabited by a white race of people known among us as the Wagas, or the Ra, the children of Ra. The Wa should be Ra. These white people were found to inhabit the whole continent. Let me read that one more time for all these frauds out there all over the internet, all across our country, that say the white people, we stole this land. It wasn't ours. Everything was stolen from the evil colonizers. Well, this Native American here is telling you these white people were found to inhabit the whole continent and were a highly moral and civilized race. So, like I said in the past, if you look at the very word America, Amaru, the very first four letters are they're a sequence of letters hidden. Two letters, the first two letters A-M equals Amun, and then the second are E-R, Ra, right to left. It's Amun Ra, part of Adam's land. That's what Atlantis means. I've said that 100 times already for the last couple of years. I've been saying this, that Atlantis was a worldwide system. That was the New World Order when Adam was given the reins or control of the earth, because like in the text tell you, the earth, the entire earth was made for Adam. And this Native American, who has spiritual wisdom and knowledge beyond the stupid, low-level Gentile white man, is telling you right here that they inhabited the whole continent and were a highly moral and civilized race. This was the land of Muta. It's not just one geographic location. The children of Adam ruled the entire earth. The entire earth was under control of Adam, and each one of his sons and daughters ruled certain regions of the earth. And that is a fact that's in archaeological sites, it's in architecture, that's in ancient buildings. When you see all these buildings that were destroyed and statues all over the earth, like I've said in the past, these are the remnants of the children of Adam, of Adam's land. That's what that means. So continuing, it says, the whites heartily welcomed the Indians to their country, and taught us, the Native Americans, all of their arts and sciences, also the religious teachings of their so-called their shamans and priests. They learned all of it from the whites that were already here, according to this Native American, which is a hoax within itself. She tells you they weren't from here. This was not their native land, and they were heartily welcomed into the land. That's a fact. I'm not saying this. This Native American supposedly is telling you this. The Indians recognized the right of these ancient people as the first possessors of the soil, and no difficulties ever arose between the two peoples. Let me repeat that. The Indians, which they're not really Indians, they're not from India, it's another hoax. The Indians recognized the rights of these ancient white people as the first possessors of the soil or of the United States of America, and no difficulties ever arose between the two people. Their hospitality was exceedingly generous, and the welfare of our people, and all prospered together in peace and happiness in their pursuits of human existence. After a time, there were intermarriages between the two races, but these were never promiscuous. For a vast period of time, the two races dwelt together in peace and honored homes. Wars and quarrels were unknown in this golden age of happiness, or the golden age of Atum Ra, of Adam's land. As the white people ruled, that's right, the white people ruled the earth. That's where the term white supremacy comes from. You crackers is white supremacist, and you think you have white privilege. That's where that comes from, because the white race in God form and also in human form ruled the earth, because the earth was made for Adam, and she is verifying that. These are traditions that were passed down from generation to generation from the Native Americans, that the white people ruled as a beacon of light and kindness. And our people still worship the hallowed places where once they trod. Their morals were far superior to the white people of today. Why does she say that? Because they were changed from gods to men, and their memories were wiped. When that cycle was over, when Atlantis went down, the great reset, one of the resets of the last cycle, and I believe the book of Isaiah speaks of this. When Isaiah said that he saw cities turned clear upside down, I believe that this is what he was speaking of, that this civilization was destroyed, and the sons of Adam were sent back up into the heavens, and they were sent back down in regular human form. Their morals were far superior to the white people of today. Their ideals were high and inspired our people with greatness. After we had lived with these ancient people so long, they suddenly called their hosts together and mysteriously disappeared for a distant land. We know not where. We have no memory of their reason or cause why they abandoned their ancient homes where they had dwelt for untold centuries. Wars did not drive them forth, for we loved them more than brothers, and difficulties were unknown between the two peoples. On leaving, they went towards the north, from whence we came, and disappeared from our land beyond the northern sea. It was a sad farewell when they departed from this land, for our people mourned their loss. As no more have we found such friends as they, so true and loyal. In their farewell journey across the land, So let me pause right here. So she's telling you from out of nowhere that the elders came together or the priest class came together and they left. Why did they leave? Because Adam's land was about to end. The Most High told them they were not in the main city of Atlantis. They were in one of the states, the worldwide states, the United States on a global scale, and they left. And the Most High told them, you are going to be called back up. That means they were leaving out of their bodies and they were going back into the heavens. They left landmarks of stone monuments on the tops of high mountains and places commanding a view of the surrounding country. These landmarks we have kept in repair down through the ages in loving remembrance. I have seen many of these landmarks myself and often repaired them, that they left as a symbol of the mystic age and grandeur of a mighty nation that passed in a single season. So let me pause right there. She's speaking of the grandeur of a mighty nation. This is a worldwide nation that she's speaking of. This is Adam's land, Atum's land, the land of Mu, the land of Muta, Lemuria. These are all different derivations of the name of Adam because the world was made for Adam, as the ancient texts tell you, that have been hidden by those who call themselves Judah but do lie. And they have taken our text and written themselves in these texts, these historical documents of who we are as a people. And this Native American woman or this Native Asiatic is telling you who we are. We don't know who we are, but she's telling you exactly who we are. So that being said, let's continue. It says, oh, how little we know of the depths of the ages gone. How wide, how profound and deep is the knowledge we seek. A monument of stone, a stone bowl, a broken symbol, a hollowed unknown spot, a lodge of ruins. All this makes a golden page glittering with diamonds that thrills the emotions with mysterious longings for the truth and light in the depths of the unknown. When the Wagas left this land, they assured my people that they would return to them at some future time. Perchance thousands of years have elapsed since then, and they have not returned. We have waited in vain, for it seems that our cherished hopes are fading. However, some of our people are still looking for the return of the white man. Let me repeat that. Some of our people are still looking for the return of the white man, the Waha white man. The traditions handed down leads us to believe that the Wagas, or the sons of Ra, returned to the land of their birth in the far north, the valley of the Cheek Alth. Notice these four letters here, A-L-T-H. This is a word scramble of the words Adam's land. This is right in your face. As their traditions were given to us, that their origin was in the same land of Cheek Alth, as they came down from the north when they came to this land. When the Wagas first arrived on this continent, they handed down the traditions to us. It was inhabited by a giant race of people when they first came. So, wow, that's kind of interesting. There was a race of giants in this very land when they came. These giants were represented by the Wagas as being very swarthy in complexion. Let me pause. Swarthy is another way of saying black, dark, a black complexion. When you see these ancient statues of the supposed Olmec people, these African-looking giants with these weird helmets, these are known as the Grigori. These were the angels that, under command of Satan, their father, the leader of the 200, they took women and they interbred with them and they created these monsters on this land. And these would be known as the Olmec. And they used implements so large that no ordinary man could lift them. It was an age when large animals roamed the earth. And it seems the birds and fowls were all very large in size. It appeared to be the first age and was the age of the giants. The recollections transmitted by the Wagas were that these giants were very cruel and wicked, and they were Cains of Baal, Cains, not Baal Hadad, but Baal Moloch, Baal Osiris. That this is who they were of. It was said that God became displeased with them and destroyed them, and they all perished from the earth. It was also said that God appeared to the high priest of the Wagas, or the sons of Ra'ah. The son Ra'ah, Wagas means Wa'ah. They're sounds, syllables. They're telling you that these Wa, this is how they pronounced it in their language. But they were the sons of Ra, of the spirit, and told them that he was going to destroy the giant race of the dark-skinned giants, and that the Wagas themselves would survive upon the earth as a new people. Smaller birds and animals would appear upon the earth for the use of man, or the sons of Adam. Thus, the age of the giants perished, and the sons of Ra do not hand down any traditions of how they perished from the earth. As my people have no recollection of ever seeing giants, my mother says that our people in ancient times have seen many relics belonging to these prehistoric giants, such as huge stone bowls, stone slabs, and other implements so great that our people could not move them. During the age of rains and wearing away of the earth, so let me pause right there. During the age of the rains, she's talking about the flood, and wearing away the mud flood, wearing away of the earth, of the mud flood. These implements have been buried so deep and have sunk into the earth is the reason that we cannot find them today. The Indians' name for the giant race is the Pa-Pel In, which means people that have all died and passed away. When the Wagas returned to Chicatal, it is supposed that they found a ladder in this beautiful valley, which extends from heaven to earth, and climbed it to Where's on Now. So it's another hidden name right there. Se on Now, heaven, where they dwell with Isus, God. All the half-caste, with the exception of a few, went away with the Wagas, and nearly all those that were three-quarter Indian remained with our people. Let me pause again. You're telling you right here that these people, the sons of Ra, that a ladder came down, just like the ladder of Jacob, like the ladder I've showed you, and other shows that the Most High has shown me, that I have evidence and pictures that God showed me Jacob's ladder. Some might scoff at that, but I don't give a shit because I have evidence of it. I have hardcore proof. But this ladder in this beautiful valley, which extends where they dwell with the Most High in the heavens. They're telling you something very interesting here. All the half-caste, with the exception of a few, went away with the Wagas. Now, I don't know if this is true, the half-caste, or if this is wishful thinking on her part, but she's telling you, and nearly all those that were three-quarter Indian remained. So in other words, only those who came from above can return above or back to the heavens. And if you were three-quarter of these Native Americans, you were not allowed to go back into the heavens because you didn't come from there. And this is what she is telling you. This is said to be the reason why some of our people are very fair. That means light skin. Some of the Indians are still looking for their return to the earth. When they come back, it is believed that peace and happiness will reign supreme again over this great land, and all evil will be cast out. And Matthew chapter 13 told you the same thing. When the tares of the field are removed, then my sons, the Wagas, the Ra'ahs of the Spirit, will shine forth. And she says, continuing, happiness will reign supreme again in this great land. All evil, or the tares of the field, will be cast out. When the present race of white people made their first appearance upon the American continent, we believed it was the Wagas returning and a hearty welcome was extended to them. And there was great rejoicing among our tribes. But soon the sad mistake was discovered to our sorrow when the men began to debauch our women and give whiskey to our men and claimed our land that our forefathers had inhabited for so many thousands of years. Well, hear what she's saying. She obviously didn't understand who the Ra, or the people, or the sons of Ra were. In other words, these sons of Adam were taken back up into the heavens. As I've said a million times, a ladder was extended. They went back up. This is metaphor. It could be metaphor. It could be actually a real ladder. Who knows? But they went back up into the heavens, and they were to be born back upon the earth as a smaller version of themselves, but with their memories wiped. So they were, in other words, to rule over the peoples of the earth, they had to become regular people of the earth. This is how I read this. And in other words, the righteousness that were in the whites of the golden age was gone. These were regular people now. Yes, they were of the heavens. They were of the Father. They came from the stars above into the grains of sand on the seashore, and they were put into white flesh bodies on the earth, but with their memories wiped. And they were being graded out. We're being tested. This is a giant test. And this is what this text is telling you. We no longer termed them as Wagas, but as the Kenyas, which meant foreigners. Well, that's a hoax, because this land has always belonged to us. It's not like this was a different genetic strand of white people. It was just a different type of existence of the whites. They were no longer in remembrance of their original being, as in coming from the heavens. They were now, like I said earlier, in the flesh as every other man on the earth. So continuing, they had corrupt morals that brought disillusion upon our people and wrought the horrors of untold havoc. Well, they always blame you for their inadequacies. So that's how I'm reading that. Were there evil people among them? I'm sure. But this is the same thing as the Dindus always tell you. We didn't do nothing. And it's always the white man's fault. But I don't believe that one bit. I think when the original whites left, that they degenerated back into what they were. And these horrors came from their own genetic seed line. So that's just my thought on it. So continuing. When the Indians first reached the Klamath River, there were large prairies of vast tracts of grassy land, which have since grown up timber and underbrush. Many of the prairies were set on fire and burnt off every year during the dry season, which kept the timber from growing up very fast. So there you have it from a Native American herself, and she's telling you who the white race of Adam are on the earth. So moving on, the creation and the spoken word of the Most High Jesus. Is there anything in music that verifies what God's spoken word says as far as creation? And I think this is a very interesting slide right here. So I'm going to share this with you, and it's going to teach you a little bit about cymatics. So that said, let's start this. The Bible tells you that God said, "Let there be light," and through the spoken word, all of creation came about. Is there anything that has Adam's name in the musical scale? I found this very interesting going through cymatics and studying cymatics a little bit, and I found something that was actually mind-blowing. We have the name right here in plain sight, Atum. Atum is in the music scale. So when God spoke the world into existence, is there anything in the music scale that has his name? And this blew me away when I saw this, and is hiding in plain sight. Now, I am not Mr. Music Guy, and I'm not going to pretend to know anything about music or the scale of music, because I don't. But I do see patterns, and this stood out to me, and I was blown away when I saw this. It literally says Atum Ra E Ba El, Abba El. So this right to left, we have Adam's name, Atum Re Ra, Atum Ra El Ra Atum. Even in music, God and his son are everywhere. You can't escape it. And I just thought this was a very interesting slide and wanted to share that. So I'm not going to spend too much time on that. So let's move on. These are different derivations of the name of Adam throughout the different civilizations. And I didn't attach every civilization to it, but you're more than welcome to go through it yourself. And I'm not going to pronounce every single one of these, but if you want to pause the video and look at every single one of these names, have at it. So that said, let's go to the next slide. This was from another interesting book I have from Manly P. Hall. And these individuals, like I said earlier, Albert Pike and Manly P. Hall, the ones that the church tells you that these are devils and they worship the devil. Well, I haven't found any evidence of that whatsoever reading through these books. As a matter of fact, it's the total opposite. They speak about the tribes of Israel, who they are. They give you hidden meanings. And I was blown away from this segment from Manly P. Hall. I'm going to go over it a little bit. It says, Jesus, the sun god, and they give you the imperial standard of the great mogul. This is the symbol of our Father right here. The sun, the S-U-N, I am the light of the world through the lion of Pharez Judah, right in your face. King James Version, Revelation 22, I, Jesus, have sent mine angels to testify unto you these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David and the bright and morning star. John 8:12. Then spake Jesus again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. So let's continue with Manly P. Hall here. He says, the sun rising over the back of the lion. He's going to give you a understanding of what the symbol of the great mogul means. So he's telling you the sun rising over the back of the lion, or astrologically in the back of the lion, has always been considered symbolic of power and rulership. A symbol very similar to the one above appears on the flag of Persia, whose people who have always been sun worshipers. Does that mean that they worship the ball, the sun in the sky? I would say, yeah, you probably have a lower caste of low-level rubes, and I'm not saying that in a derogatory way, but they were told by the priest class that the sun is God, and I've said that before in the past, but there's plenty of evidence that suggests that. So continuing, kings and emperors have frequently associated their terrestrial power with celestial power of the solar orb, and have accepted the sun or one of its symbolic beast or bird as their emblem. Witness the lion of the great mogul and the eagle of Caesar and Napoleon. The Egyptian priests in many of their ceremonies wore the skins of lions, which were symbols of the solar orb, owing to the fact that the sun is exalted, dignified, and most fortunately placed in the constellation of Leo, which he rules, and which was one time the keystone of the celestial arch. Again, Hercules is a son of the solar deity, not the solar deity. He was a son of the solar deity, for as this mighty hunter performed his 12 labors So the sun, in traversing the 12 houses of the zodiacal band, these are the 12 tribes of Israel, performs during his pilgrimage 12 essential and benevolent labors for the Amun race, the sons of Adam, and for nature in general. Hercules, like the Egyptian priest, wore the skin of a lion for a girdle. Samson, the Hebrew hero, which I believe are one and the same, one in God form, one in regular flesh form, as above, so below, as his name implies, is also a son of the solar deity. His fight with the Nubian lion from Wakanda, his battles with the Philistine, who represented the power or the skin of darkness or the sons of Osiris, and his memorable feat of carrying off the gates of Gaza all refer to the aspects of solar activity. Many of the ancient peoples had more than one solar deity. In fact, all of the gods, let me repeat this, all of the gods and goddesses were supposed to partake, in part at least, of the sun's light. This is what they're telling you here. They are all sons of light. So let's go to the next slide. This is another hidden text that blew me away, and this is going to explain a lot about Adam and his fall from the heavens. I've gone into other texts that have explained it, but this is basically the same story from another angle and in more depth. So I'm going to start this. In the fourth hour is the consecration of the seraphim. I heard that in this hour during the time of my stay in paradise, before my rebellion against the commandment. When I transgressed the command, I could no longer hear the voices nor their movement and agitation as I used to hear them. And I could not see anything holy as I used to see it before my sin. In the fifth hour, there is the worship of the water. The water he's speaking of is the four rivers coming from the footstool of Jesus Christ, the four waters, the white waters of white light projection, creation upon the earth of his sons and daughters, which is above the heaven. Verily, I and the angels used in that hour to hear voices from the water, which is in the height, as a Talmud, as if of chariots and great wheels, and the sounding amongst the waves, and commotion among the echoes in paradise to the Lord. In the sixth hour is the supplication of the clouds to God when they are fearful and trembling. In the seventh hour, the powers of earth are led forth, and they sing praise, while the waters sleep and are stilled. If a man takes anything from the water in that hour, and the priest mixes holy oil with it and anoints with it the sick and those who cannot sleep at night. Verily, the sick are cured, and the wakeful sleep. In the eighth hour, the grass comes forth from the earth. In the ninth hour is the service of the angels and entrance of prayer before God. In the 10th hour, the gates of heaven are opened, and the cry of my believing children is heard, and they receive what they have asked from God. May he be exalted and praised. And the seraphim rub their wings, and by the force of their rubbing, the rooster crows in praise to the Lord. In the 11th hour, there is joy and delight over all the earth. For the sun enters the paradise of God, and its light arises in the regions of earth. All creatures are illuminated. Let me repeat that. All creatures are illuminated or are projected by the falling of the sun's rays upon them. In the 12th hour, my children must burn jasmine before the Lord, for by it there is much repose in heaven for all its inhabitants. Know, O my son Seth, and attend to my saying. Be sure, pay attention, this is key right here. Be sure God will come down to the earth as he said to me. So that, like I said before, there are charlatans and antichrist all over the internet. You have to be careful who you listen to. You know a tree by its fruit, and they will tell you that Jesus is not God, and they'll make 1,000 videos using the Bible to prove their ridiculous point, or using the Bible to prove the Bible. But if you read what this says, it says, be sure, this is Adam, the father of the white race on the earth. Be sure that God, Jesus, will come down to the earth as he said to me, and made me understand and know when he comforted me at my exit from paradise. Praise to his names, not one singular name, names. He spoke to me saying, at the end of time, he will incarnate of a virgin girl named Mary and will be veiled in me. This is very interesting what he's saying here. So like the old Kryptonian prophecy that they tell you in the Superman movies, the son becomes the father and the father becomes the son. And Adam is telling his son Seth, and he's writing this down, and it's telling you that God will incarnate of a virgin girl named Mary and will be veiled in me. And other texts tell you that Mary was the ark or the salvation of the children of Adam, her womb. Her womb was the ark and the salvation of the sons of Adam, because the Most High would make entrance into the earth through this virgin that we call Mary and would be veiled in me. So Adam is saying that the genetics of Adam all the way down through Mary would be veiled in me. So is there anything that gives us a more expanded understanding? And I think there is. So let's go to the next slide. He will put on my skin. Jesus is saying this to Adam, and Adam is telling this to Seth. Jesus will put on my skin, or the genetics of Adam. So when they call Jesus the Son, S-O-N, of God, it is God being born through his own genetic line. That is the deeper understanding of it. And there are people out there that literally think that Jesus was the S-O-N. No, Jesus was the S-U-N. And this text is telling you that Jesus will put on my skin. In other words, come through my genetic line, a template, an avatar of Adam through that genetic line. He would not come through the line of Cain or Osiris or Satan, that he would only come through the pure line of the sons of light, and will be born like the birth of a man by a force and direction that none understand but himself and those whom he reveals it. He will run with the children, boys and girls of that period. He will do wonders and signs openly. He will walk on the waves of the sea as if walking on dry land. He will rebuke the winds in a manifest way, and they will be led by his command. He will call to the waves of the sea, and they will answer him obediently. At his command, the blind shall see, the lepers shall be cleansed, the deaf shall hear, the dumb shall speak, the deformed shall be straightened, the lame shall spring up, and palsied shall rise and walk. Many rebels shall be led to God. Those who have wandered shall be led aright, and devils shall be driven away. When the Lord comforted me with this, he said to me, O Adam, grieve not. Pay attention to this. For thou art a God, as thou thoughtest to become by thy transgression of my command. So Adam is telling his son that God is telling Adam, you are a God. Let me read that again. He said to me, O Adam, grieve not, for you are a God. Of course he was. He was his son. As thou thoughtest to become by thy transgression of my commandment. So Satan did not only fool Eve, if you eat of this fruit, you shall be a God. Adam fell for the same thing. And Adam's rebellion against God was to overthrow the Father. This is exactly what this is telling you. This is the deeper meaning of Isaiah. And I'm not going to get into that yet, but trust me, that's coming down the line. But this is telling you, you are a God, and I will make you a God, but not at this time. But after a lapse of years, the Lord said to me, I have verily brought thee out of the land of paradise to the land which bring forth thorn and briars, and thou mayest inhabit it. I will bend thy loins. That sounds like kick you in the nuts. And make thy knees tremble from old age and senility. So in other words, he's telling him that he's going to make him a normal man. He's going to bend his loins. He's going to have to learn to live as a human being, or as a lower man, or as an Enosh. This God, Adam was given the world, and he wasn't worthy of what was given him. And God, to teach his son a lesson, put him in the flesh like every other being on the earth, every other man of the earth. And he's telling him, I will bend thy loins and make him procreate and have children just like every other person on the earth, and make thy knees tremble from age and senility. O thou dust, if you can count the stars of the heavens and the grains of sand or dust on the seashore. That's what he's telling him. O thou dust, O Adam, to death I will deliver thee, and thy body I will make food for maggots and the fodder of the worm. After 5.5 of my days, I will have pity on thee in my mercy. This is incredible. This goes verbatim with the Ethiopic writings of the books of Adam and Eve. And this literally tells you Jesus is God. He is the Father in the flesh. He manifested himself in a flesh suit and came down in a flesh avatar to save his son. And he's telling him after this 5.5 days that he would have pity and mercy on him. Well, what does that entail? What is this mercy, and what does that mean? What is he telling his son? He's telling him, I will come down to thee, and in thy house, his temple or body, will I dwell, and with thy body will I be clothed. Wow. Let me stop here. Jesus, this is God talking to Adam, Jesus Christ, the Father. He's telling him, I will come down to thee, and in thy house, or house is his temple. It's not that he was living with Adam in a house made of bricks and stone and wood. He's telling him in his body. He's going to use his body as a genetic avatar through his own seed line, through the side of his ribs. The wheat of the field came from the Father, and I will dwell with thy body. So our Father made a body from the genetics of Adam through the ark of salvation for Adam and the sons of Adam, and he was going to live with Adam, or as Adam, as a man on the earth. Let me repeat that. I will come down to thee, and in thy house, or in thy temple, will I dwell. So God was living in a flesh avatar body in the third dimension. So anyone who says that Jesus is not God, I've come to the understanding exactly what Jesus said. He said, my sheep hear me, and they know me. If people do not understand at this stage of the game that Jesus is the Father, then they are not of his sheep. There's no other explanation I can come up with, and I'm not going to fight the world. My most valuable asset on this earth is my time, and I don't have time to deal with the goats of the field. So if this doesn't resonate with you, then go to another channel. This is not for you. So that said, I'm going to read this one more time. It says, this is just mind-blowing to me. I don't mean to be redundant, but please be patient with me. I will come down to thee, O Adam, and in thy temple will I dwell, and with thy body will I be clothed. For thy sake, O Adam, I will become a child. For thy sake, O Adam, I will appear in the marketplaces. For thy sake, O Adam, I will fast for 40 days. For thy sake, O Adam, I will receive baptism. For thy sake, O Adam, I will be lifted up on the cross. This is God talking to Adam. Who was lifted up on the cross? Jesus Christ, the Son, S-U-N, the light of the world, who came into the earth through the genetic temple of his own seed line, Adam, the Atlantean white race of Adam. So continue. Adam, I will be lifted up on the cross for thy sake, O Adam. I will endure lies for thy sake, O Adam. I will be beaten with the whip for thy sake, O Adam. I will taste vinegar for thy sake, O Adam. My hands will be nailed for thy sake, O Adam. I will be pierced with a spear for thy sake, O Adam. I will thunder in the heights for thy sake, O Adam. I will darken the sun for thy sake, O Adam. I will cleave the rocks for thy sake, O Adam. I will frighten the powers of heaven for thy sake, O Adam. I will cause heaven to rain on the desert for thy sake, O Adam. I will open the graves for thy sake, O Adam. I will cause all creation to tremble for thy sake, O Adam. I will make a new earth, and after 3 days, which I have spent in the grave, I will raise up the body which I took from thee, and will make it go up with me without any separation from me, and cause it, the body, to sit at the right hand of my Godhead. I will make thee a God as thou hast desired. Oh my goodness. This is 50 levels up. This is groundbreaking. I don't know any other word to put on this. This is one of the most incredible texts I have ever read, proving that Jesus is the Father. This goes outside of the rabbinical mind prison of the 66 Masoretic copy of a copy of a copy of a copy of a destroyed copy of the Bible that you have and hold fast that it's the unadulterated Word of God. And people actually believe that. Is there truth in the Bible? Yes. Has the Bible been altered? Yes. Are there other books that prove certain things that have been taken out and give clarity to the Bible? Yes. That's the mission of my entire channel, is to relay that message to you and to get a deeper understanding of God's word. As Jesus said, the keys of wisdom and knowledge have been hidden from you. And this is one of the keys of wisdom and knowledge that I just read you right here. Jesus Christ is the Father. There is no doubt in my mind. So that said, let's go on to the next slide. Keep, O my son Seth, the commandments of God, and do not despise my word to thyself, and learn that the Lord must come down to earth, and godless people will take him, and we know who those people were, and stretch him on the wood of the cross, and strip him of his raiment, and raise him between wicked thieves. He will go up upon the cross in the substance of his humanity. He will be killed, and the body which he took from us will be buried. Let me read that again. He will be killed, and the body, the avatar third dimension body of light projection, to which our Father projected a ray of light from the heavens down to the earth, he's telling you will be killed. And this body he took from us, our genetic seed line, Adam, the first Israel. So let me back up. He's telling you here again, I will make a new earth. So was this a reset he's speaking of right here? When he died, there was a new reset? I mean, these are legit questions. I don't have the answers to everything, but this is a very interesting sentence right here. It says, I will make a new earth, and after 3 days, which I have spent in the grave, I will raise up the body which I took from thee, and will make it go up with me without any separation from me, and cause it to sit at the right hand of my Godhead. I will make thee a God as thou hast desired. This is exactly what the book of Enoch says, that the Ancient of Days, that there was someone with him, and the Judeo-Christians falsely believed that it was Jesus that was with him. No, it was Adam that was with him. Jesus was the avatar body, but God is telling you, right, that the Most High is telling you, Jesus is telling you that this body that he made would go up with him, and he would set this body. So is this an empty body with no life in it? No, he's telling you that Adam would be reincarnated or his light projection put back into this body and sit at the right hand of the Father. Now, is this etched in stone? No, this is how I'm trying to understand what this text is telling you. This is a very, very complex telling of what really happened when Jesus was crucified. And this to me has a lot to do with the first and the second Adam. And that's why Jesus was known as the second Adam, in my opinion. So that said, let's move on and finish this other thought here. It says, then after 3 days, he will raise it and take it up with him to heaven, and will set it with him at the right hand of his divinity. To him be the glory and the dignity and praise, the greatness and the worship and the reverence and the hallelujah. It's another hidden meaning there. And the song, and to his Son, S-U-N, not S-O-N, or to his light, and the Holy Ghost, from now and always, and throughout all the ages and times. Amen. Know, O my son, that there must come a flood to wash all the earth on account of the children of Cain. Osiris, just like the ancient Egyptian priest would tell the initiate into the Osirian mysteries, they would whisper in his ear, Osiris is a black god. And I didn't write that. I'm just presenting that. I found it, and that's what a researcher does. I don't call myself a pastor. I am a lifetime student. I'm a lifetime student, and I am seeking the face of Jesus Christ, my Father in the heavens. And he has shown me great, incredible things, and I give praise and glory to Jesus Christ, the Father and Creator of the universe. No doubt this is an incredible text. So finishing, it tells you that the flood was sent to the earth on account of the children of Cain, and the sons of God saw the daughters of Cain and mixed and created this lineage of giant, swarthy, Olmec creatures. And there are some charlatans out there on YouTube that tell you that the Olmec, that they were the children of Atlantis. And that's a total hoax. They were a mix, a mongrelized group of monsters, of low caste children of Saturn mixed with the sons of light, and God wiped their asses out. And this text is telling you that this flood, Adam is saying this, that this flood to wash all the earth on account of the children of Cain, or the mixing, as I read earlier. Satan, Osiris, he was the father of mixing the seed. And this is what happened. This is why the flood came. The wicked man who slew thy brother for envy of his sister Lelua. After the flood, through the wickedness of many congregations, the end of the world, the conditions will be fulfilled, things will be perfected, the time will be cut short, which I have fixed for the creatures. Fire will consume whatever it reaches before the Lord, and the earth shall be consecrated. So let's go to the next slide. Seth wrote this testament and sealed it with the seal of his father Adam, which he had from paradise, and the seal of Eve, and his own seal. And Adam died, and the host of the angels assembled to put him on his bier for his honor with God. And Seth embalmed him and swathed him, and he and his sons bare rule. And he put him eastward of paradise, where he slept at the exit from it, near the town that was built before all buildings, called Enoch. That's a mistranslation. It was not called Enoch. It was Egypt, the land of Kim. Called the land of Kim in the inhabited world. When Adam died, the sun was darkened and the moon for 7 days and 7 nights with a gross darkness. Seth took the scrolls in which he wrote the testament of his father Adam, came into the cave of treasures along with the offerings which Adam had carried with him from the land of paradise. This is to say, gold, myrrh, and frankincense, which Adam taught Seth and his children that they should belong to the 3 Magian kings, and that they should travel with these things to the Savior of the world, Jesus Christ the Father. He is the creator of all, to be born in a city called Bethlehem a territory of Judah, in a cave, not a manger. So this is telling you that what Adam received in the cave of treasures that would come back to him as he was born in the Magian kings, or the sons of Adam, the Aryans that came from the land of Persia. Get rid of the P, it's Aryans, Ra, sons of Aries, children of the sun. That's exactly what that means. All right, that's going to end it for tonight. I appreciate all the support I get out there from people. And may Jesus bless you, and good night.